My name is Cathy Greenwood and I'm a clinical and research psychologist at Sussex Partnership Foundation Trust. So I'd like to talk to you today about a project that we're running, which has been funded by the research collaboration for Kent, Surrey and Sussex. And the aim of this project is to implement a novel approach to more straightforwardly identifying people who might be at risk of developing psychosis or longer-term mental health problems. And we're using a novel approach, using people's health records to do that. What we really want to do here is to reduce the risk that people fall through gaps between services and don't get all of the support that they might need or get offered everything that might be helpful to them. So one part of this project is to provide people with a tailor-made treatment choices booklet that gives them lots and lots of information that's all evidence-based about the sorts of things they might do for themselves that might be helpful, and also about services that might be useful for them now or in the future in their local area. One of the things that we want to do as part of this project is to see whether by giving people this information, by identifying them and giving them this information, whether we actually increase the number of interventions that people get offered or the number of approaches that people take up. What's really important about this project is that it's not necessarily the case that the people that we identify do have an at-risk mental state. That's one of the things we're finding out as part of the project. And it's certainly not the case that everyone who we identify will go on at some point in the future to develop psychosis. In fact, it's quite the opposite. The majority of people who have an at-risk mental state will never go on to develop psychosis. So one of the things you'll notice in this introductory video is that we don't mention psychosis at all. We talk about risks for future psychological health problems or future psychological distress. Okay, so we're trying to identify predictors in someone's case notes using 18 different predictors, which is what we're trying now, as research suggests that we're not actually very good at recognising people who most need our support, and we're not necessarily good at offering it at the right time. So we want to make sure that people don't fall through gaps and that we do this in an unbiased way. And actually young people have told us that they really like the idea of an algorithm in people's case notes because it doesn't have the same biases as a human. It's really important to say that the at-risk mental state is not a diagnosis. We just want to support people that might not be getting the support they need, and our records suggest we could be considering other approaches or treatments to support mental health than they may have had so far. The gold standard is where the person is assessed by a mental health service practitioner using a recognised assessment tool, and one of those is called CRIS. That recognises the at-risk mental state as above a certain level by rating a person's experiences based on an interview or a conversation with them, really. There are 3 levels: psychosis, an at-risk mental state, and experiences below the threshold. NHS England are supporting and advocating for services to support people with an at-risk mental state. So that means it's a distressing state that does impact on a person's life. A diagnosis is an agreed mental health condition, so it's included in diagnostic manuals like ICD-10 or DSM-5. It's got specific criteria and an agreed set of treatments. The at-risk mental state is an agreed mental health state with specific criteria and treatments, but it's not a formal diagnosis. And that avoids some of the stigma around diagnosis when the majority of people, about 70 to 80%, find that that condition resolves on their own. Psychosis medication isn't actually recommended for somebody who have these types of experiences. Okay, so we've also got a short film for patients. So we're identifying people with a constellation of experiences that might warrant a treatment in their own right, and we'd like to share with you and them some of the options that are available. For example, if someone's struggling with sleep, they might warrant a sleep intervention. If they're feeling low or anxious or suspicious, they might benefit from psychological therapies. And if they've been more withdrawn or they've not been in education or employment or training, they might benefit from some discussion about activity, exercise, diet, having something to do that's actually valuable for them. And we can provide a list of what can be offered. So I hope this video is helpful. This gives you a bit of an idea about how you might go about introducing the project to a service user who you might have had contact with in the recent past. If you want to find out any more about the project, we have an information sheet, which hopefully you've got a copy of, and you can also contact the research department in Sussex Partnership, who will undoubtedly be able to give you lots more information. Thank you.